Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Bronson here. Thinking about a conversation I had recently on Clubhouse, and the topic of the room that I was in was what happens or how do you recover from falling off the wagon, essentially. I forget exactly the title of the room, but basically the idea was when you fall off plan, when things happen and you go off plan, how do you recover? During that conversation, one of the things that kind of hit me was falling off the plan is what we talk about and how we say what happens when we make decisions that go against what we're trying to do. There is no such thing really as falling off of the plan, because that phrase in and of itself kind of reframes the discussion as something that happens to you versus a choice that you make, which is what it really is. When you go off plan, it's because you've chosen to go off plan. Falling off of your plan, going outside of the things that you said you want to be a habit or in your routine, is not something that happens to you. That concept, we need to really think about how we word things and the phrasing and the mentality you have when we talk about this, because the journey that you're on is 100% under your control. Okay, you're not riding a train that is being driven by a conductor and you fall out the window, or you fall off the back of the train, or you're in a truck that's being driven by a truck driver and you hit a big bounce and you fall off the truck. If you are off plan, it's because you've chosen to be off plan. And there's a couple things to understand about that. Number one, that's okay. If that is your choice and you're making an educated decision for whatever your reasoning is, then cool, accept it and move on. What's the next choice that you need to make? Okay? The challenge is, and where things get hard, is if you continually make a choice that goes against what you say your goal is or what you're really trying to work for. Okay? Making a choice to do something that's opposite the direction you want to go can be okay. When we talk about building habits, that's where things get challenging, okay? The more times you make a choice that's going in the wrong direction, the more likely you are to go in the wrong direction. The more times you make a choice that's moving you in the direction you want to go, the more potential and the more chance you have of actually being successful and reaching your goal, okay? So, that being said, I'm talking about this from a journey perspective. I was thinking about a book I read as a kid. The book was called Pilgrim's Progress, and it was basically a narrative, a parable about a person going through this journey of salvation, okay? The things that they encountered along their journey. And kind of comparing that to the stuff that we're going through as far as the number one thing, the number one aspect of the whole story is it was his journey. It's your journey. You are the one walking the path. No one else is walking it for you. No one else is in your shoes taking the step by step by step, forward, backward, sideways, or not at all. Okay? Every step on your journey is taken by your feet, not somebody else's. Okay? So there are a ton of things that happen in this story, and there's a ton of things that happen to us on our journey. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple scenarios, a couple things, and let's see a couple things to remember. One, these things happen to everybody at some point on the journey. Okay, these things happen more than once, often. Okay, it's very unlikely that something's going to happen to you and that's the only time it's ever going to happen. Okay. So think about your journey, think about where you are, and see if any of these things are applicable to where you are right now, and think about how are you going to take responsibility for what's happening and make sure that you're moving forward, okay? Things that happen on your journey. The road that you're on, the road that you're traveling is rough, uphill. Maybe there's been, like we're using the context of you actually walking on a path, right? Maybe there's been a rock fall or a mudslide or there's a flood, right? To get from point A to point B at some point on your journey is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. There may be things that you have to do differently in order to get around an obstacle, to cross a river, okay? So how do you do that? What do you do to make sure that you can get through that? Okay, so there's a lot of different things you can do. You can get help. You can find tools. You can do things differently. If you're used to running on your, let's say you're running on your path, you're going really fast. You've been used to do things have been easy, right? You come to an obstacle, you got to figure out, oh crap, I have to walk. I have to tiptoe. I have to carefully place my steps. So there's a mentality shift of things are different. What do I need to change? Okay. How do I make things work now when they weren't working, or when they were working before, but now they're not? Okay. Accept the change, figure out what needs to change, and then make that change so you can keep moving forward. Okay. When things are difficult, figure out how to get through it and don't stop. Okay. Again, 100% your responsibility, up to you to make it happen. Okay, you're not driving, you're the one walking the path. You're not on a train, someone else is driving. Okay, you're walking it. Okay. Something else that can happen on your journey. You can bump into people along the way. Okay, there's 3 different types of people that you can bump into along the way on your path. Okay, the first is something that I hope everybody does. I hope everybody gets a chance to bump into other people that are going the same direction and want to travel with you. Okay, that is the best thing that can happen. Finding other people that are on the path, because here's what happens. It helps you walk. It helps make the path more enjoyable. It passes the time so you don't realize how much you put into it because you're doing it with friends, you're doing it with other people. And when you do come across those obstacles, you have someone there to help you figure out how to get across it, how to make it through. Okay, so that's the first kind of person you want to bump into. Look for other people on your path who are moving the same direction as you and want to work to go with you. Okay. Another kind of person you're going to bump into is the people who are going the other direction. Maybe they've given up. Maybe they don't even know that they're going in the other direction. Maybe they're staying where they are. So you're going to come against people who are negative and trying to pull you back the other way. Okay? You got to make sure that you rely on where you're going, your goal. And if you found people that are going the same direction as you, stick with them even tighter. Okay? Do not let people take you backwards. All right? How you deal with that mentally, the things that you do in a practical sense to avoid those situations, avoid those people, cut those people out of your life, keep them from pulling you backwards, that's things you got to figure out. Again, your choice, your decisions, your plan, because you're the one walking the walk. Okay? It's not happening to you. It may happen, but how you react is what the end result is going to do for you. Okay? Your reaction to these things is what matters, not what happens. Things are going to happen. Your reaction determines whether you move forward or backward. Okay? Your reaction determines everything. How you plan for it, knowing that it's going to happen, having a plan, and then doing the thing that's going to move you forward are the 3 things that this is all about. Okay? Know ahead of time what's going to happen, have a plan for how you're going to react and what you're going to do, and then do it. Okay? So you got people that are going to help you. You got people that are going to try to bring you back. And you've got people who are sitting on the side of the road looking to party, looking for someone else to hang out with and chat. Let's have a drink. Let's chill out here because I'm comfortable here and I don't want to push to go any further. Okay? Now, here's the thing. That may come from the people who are walking with you. You may have somebody who's been walking the walk with you for a long time, and they may get to a point where I'm good where I'm at. I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to stay here. And you want to keep going. You have to be okay with letting that person do what's best for them. If that's where they're at, that's awesome. If you want to help pull them with you and say, no, there's more, come with me. There's more, that's awesome. Okay? There's another aspect of this whole thing that we'll talk about in a second. But there's other people who are just, in general, they're happy with what they are and they want more people to hang out with them. They don't want to progress. Again, if you have goals that are past that point, you need to have a plan. How are you going to move forward without letting those people hold you back? Because remember, anything that's not moving in the direction you want to go is technically backwards. It's behind you. Even if it means staying here for a while. Okay? Staying where you are is not the same as moving forward. It is essentially a net negative because you are not where you could be. Okay? Something to think about. On the flip side of that, you got those three types of people. On the flip side of that, who are you going to be? Okay? Just like they affect your lives, when you bump into other people, you are affecting their lives. Okay? Maybe you could be a person who is bringing somebody down for whatever reason and not even know it. Maybe you're not even realizing that you're doing it to somebody. Maybe you are the person who's being complacent and feels like you're okay where you are, even though you really know in the back of your mind that there's better place to be, but you're not willing to put in the work or effort to move forward, and you're holding someone else down. Okay? These are things that you've got to do some internal introspection, internal work, and kind of see where you are and how you're affecting people around you. Maybe you are that person who is moving forward and bringing people with you. I hope that's who you are. I hope that's where you want to be. The more people you can bring with you, number one, you're helping. The more people you can help, the better. Secondly, it's going to help keep you motivated, and it's going to help you get where you want to go. Okay? Just things to think about. So that's your interaction with other people. Couple things to remember about this idea of you're walking this path on your own. You're the one taking each step along the way. It is a path. It is in front of you. Okay? You're walking the path. You can't fall off the path. There's only one way to get off the path, and that is for you to stop, turn, and walk off the path. If you are no longer on the path towards your goal, it's because you have made a decision to stop walking in that direction. Okay? Now here's the thing. That may be intentional. That may be I give up. That may be I quit. I'm just not going to do this anymore. That may be here's a hack. Here's a shortcut. Here's a quick way to get around things, and maybe it'll be faster, so you get off the path thinking that you're still on the path, but it's a better path. In actuality, what you just did was you took the long way around. Okay? I guarantee you, on every shortcut that you try to take, you are, number one, by definition, a hack, a shortcut is walking off the path. You have to understand that. If you are trying to hack your way to success, you are not on the path. Okay? That's number one. Number two, every shortcut has a pitfall. Every single shortcut has something in it that is going to make things take longer, be more difficult, be more complicated, and it's going to not move you forward in the way that you think it's going to. Okay? Stay on the path. Okay? Gosh, I feel like this analogy is expanding and growing in my head as I'm talking about things. I had this all written down and I was going to kind of knock everything out, but now I'm on this, I'm driving, as you can see, and I just felt the need to get this out because it's really been pushing on my head. It is possible to turn around and walk backwards. Okay? There are things calling us from our past. There are things behind us that we left behind that have an allure, that have a draw, because that's where we used to be, and we want to look backwards. Sometimes we want to go back to them. Okay? You just have to remember. And I talked about this in another video. Oftentimes, if you want to use the analogy of what's calling you in either direction, your quality of life, your goal, your why, the thing that's driving you forward is always in front. The past, the indulgences of the past is behind you. You can't have both. Okay? You can develop new things and enjoy new things and develop indulgences that are based on where you're going. Okay? But if you hold on to the indulgences and the pleasures of the past, then you're never going to move forward. You can't go in both directions at the same time. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. Okay? Please remember that. Okay? And then the last thing I'll talk about is, making sure that you have not just an understanding of what your path is, but know where it's going. Okay? okay? And this is a big part. When we go on the journey, often we kind of start, we don't know what's going on, we don't know where we're going, maybe we do some research and we just jump into it and we go. Some people do a ton of research and they go. Along the way, no matter where you started, you're going to get to a point where you need to stop somewhere, stop in a town, stop in a village along the way, find someone who knows the path, get a coach, get a guide, and then make sure you're on the right path. Okay? You do not know how to get all the way from where you are to where you want to be. There are a ton of people along the way. There are a ton of people in towns along the way. There's a ton of people on the path that you're going to bump into who are going to think they know what you need to do best. Okay? Unless you get with someone who can understand where you are and where you're trying to go, your path is going to be longer than it needs to be because you're going to take wrong turns. All right? Every once in a while, you need to stop along the way and ask somebody for help. It's everyone has to do it. I do it. I've been doing this for 10 years. I do it. It's not negotiable. It is not negotiable. You need to stop and ask somebody for help. Okay? So, I hope some of this makes sense. I hope this rings true with most of you. You may be in different places on the path. Some of these things may have hit you. Hey, this is where I'm at. This is something I'm dealing with right now. The things I want you to remember is you have to have a plan. Know that these things are coming. Have a plan for how you're going to address it, and then follow that plan and try to focus on the goal and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to improve. Okay, because that's what's important. The main question you need to ask anytime you have a decision to make, the main question you need to ask is this going to help me reach my goal or not? If it's not going to help me reach my goal, then you have a choice. Is it something I want to do, or is it something I'm going to do, or is it something I'm not going to do? That's it. There's no accidental when it comes to sticking with your plan and moving forward towards your better quality of life. Okay? Don't forget, guys, fitness is freedom. Freedom is your choice. The ability to move your body, the ability to be metabolically healthy and allow your body to do physical activity of any kind whenever you want is the goal. Okay? Longevity, sustainability, and independence is what this whole thing is all about, and that's what I want for you. All right? Take it easy, and I'll see you on my next rant. Later.